Welcome students, I am Dr. Mary Sara Benny. Today we will learn the 8th module on lenses, which is compound microscope. This module is prepared based on the state board syllabus for standard 10 Science and Technology part 1. Children, we will have a journey through the learning objectives of this module. We will study the structure and working of compound microscope. Also, we will learn the ray diagram formed in case of compound microscope. Let us also go through the applications or the uses of compound microscope. The compound microscope. We have two convex lenses. One is the objective and the eyepiece. Here we have shown two microscopes. The eyepiece will be close to the eye. This is the eyepiece, and the objective will be close to the platform on which the object to be viewed is placed. What are the characteristics of the objective and the eyepiece? Objective have smaller cross section, which is it is of small size and shorter focal length, whereas in case of eyepiece it's of bigger cross section and larger focal length. Now, what is the principle by which the compound microscope works? We place the object beyond the focus of the objective lens, that is, the specimen is placed on this platform and the image is formed by the objective, but that image which is formed by the objective is the object for the eyepiece. That means the specimen is placed on the platform, the refraction occurs, and the convex lens at the objective makes a magnified image of the specimen. But that magnified image which is formed somewhere here will be the object for the eyepiece, and the eyepiece is also another convex lens. Another peculiarity is that both objective and the eyepiece are coaxial, means the principal axis lies on the same line. The magnified image is formed within the distance of distinct vision over here, and we get a two-dimensional image. What is the magnification that we get? It lies between 40 times and 1000 times of the specimen that is placed to view. So, the total magnification will be equal to the product of objective magnification and the eyepiece magnification. Thereby, we make use of two convex lenses here. Both the convex lenses are magnifying, and we get a total magnification which is the product of the magnification produced by the objective lens and the magnification produced by the eyepiece lens. Children, we will proceed to the compound microscope structure. By now you are aware of the objective and the eyepiece, but we will just outline the structures once again. That is, the structure can be divided into mechanical part and the optical part. Mechanical part includes the base, the stage clip, and the aperture mainly. There are minute parts other than this also, but let us see the mechanical part. This region made of metal is the base. The stage clip is over here, the platform, and the other wings which will keep the specimen properly. Besides that, the aperture is the small hole at the center on the platform. Coming to the optical part, it has a mirror at the base, then two lenses. Here we have three objective lenses. depending upon its magnifying power. So, the objective is close to the platform and the other lens is the eyepiece, which is close to the eye. Let us see in detail what are the other parts. The arm of the microscope, that is, this is the arm of the microscope. What does it do? It supports the head of the microscope, which is over here, to the base of the microscope. Remember that these are all the metal parts in the microscope. The upper part is the head, another metal arm, join it to the metallic base. Then we come to the base of the microscope, which is holding the mirror. What is the function of the mirror? The mirror takes the light, incident light, reflects it, it gets into the aperture and objective gets the light that passes through this aperture. So, this is mirror is reflecting the incident ray that falls on it for further refraction through objective and then through the eyepiece. Coming to the stage clip over here. What is a stage clip doing? It firmly fixes the slide on the platform. This black colored region is the platform. Here comes the nose piece. See, these three items are, or the three projections, that what you see here are the objective lenses, and over there this is held by another ring like structure which is made of metal, and that is called the nose piece. What does it do? It holds the objective lens and attaches them to the head of the microscope. We can rotate this nose piece according to the requirement. That means according to the magnifying power of the objective, we can rotate the nose piece, and which is this nose piece is attached to the head of the microscope. Function of stage clip already we discussed. There are two adjustments here, that is the coarse adjustment and the fine adjustment, which can be rotated. Coarse adjustment is of low power, whereas the fine adjustment is having a better focusing power. By adjusting the knob, these two knobs, we can easily increase or decrease the level of details that is to be examined through the eyepiece. So, we discussed the base, the mirror, the aperture, the clips, the platform or the stage, then the objective lenses, nose piece, fine adjustment parts. One is coarse adjustment and the second is the fine adjustment, and the last is the eyepiece. I feel you got a detailed idea about the parts of the microscope, and this is done here not with the exam point of view but for the practical purpose, since we are dealing with this on everyday life in the laboratory. Children, here we will study the working of compound microscope using the ray diagrams in detail. That is, see on this picture, that is, we have the object, a small arrow shown here. This object is placed beyond the focal length of the objective lens, and the ray diagram shows that it forms a magnified image which is inverted image, and that image 1 is formed within the focus of the eyepiece. So, what happens in a convex lens when an image or when an object is placed within the focus? We get an enlarged, erect, virtual image on the same side of the lens. So, here we get a perception of the object as an enlarged, erect, virtual image. We will discuss this with an example. This lens is the objective lens. The lens close to the eye is the eyepiece. We are viewing from here. There is an insect here. which is placed beyond the focus of the objective. See how the ray diagram comes. A ray starting from the insect parallel to the principal axis after refraction passes through the focus and reach here. Another ray starting from the insect directed towards the optic center without any deviation moves ahead and converges here. The two refracted rays meet over here and we get an inverted image. So remember, the object was beyond the focal length of the convex lens. The image that you obtain will be inverted, magnified, and for this object is basically formed beyond the focus of the objective, but that happens to be within the focus of the eyepiece. Therefore, when we keep an object within the focus of a convex lens, we get an enlarged image which is erect and virtual, and location will be on the same side. So we are viewing from here. The specimen was this small insect, but when we view through the compound microscope, you get an enlarged image on the same side of the lens. I hope you understood it very clearly. How do we make use of a compound microscope to view the magnified images of microscopic objects? Children, on the previous slide, we had seen a small microscopic insect viewed through two convex lenses, and we got an enlarged image of that insect on the same side of those objects or the lenses. Let us see how do we draw a ray diagram in case of a compound microscope. So the compound microscope have two lenses. One is the objective and the other is the eyepiece. Through the eyepiece we view, and near the objective we place the microscopic object that is to be viewed. So here the object is placed beyond the focal length of the objective. Here comes the object now. How do we draw a ray diagram? First we choose a ray parallel to the principal axis. It reaches the lens, refracts over there and passes through the focus of the lens. So see, this ray reach here and proceed further. The second ray chosen is the ray that is directed towards the optic center, which goes undeviated, and these two rays meet at the point I in this case. From point I, we draw the perpendicular to the principal axis. We reach the point Q. Therefore, QI is the image formed by the objective, and object O here, this ray, please see the eraser over here. The image formed by the objective for that object is QI. But what is QI? QI is the object for the eyepiece. We view through the eyepiece, and remember the object was erect over here. The image formed by a convex lens when the object is beyond the focal length will be inverted. Therefore, QI is inverted. But QI is formed within the focal length of the eyepiece. Now let us recall what happens when an object is placed within the focal length of a convex lens. The image that you get in such a case will be erect, enlarged and virtual, and the location will be on the same side of the lens. That means QI being within the focal length of the eyepiece, we should get the image of this QI here, which is Q dash I dash, can be seen as an enlarged image. This is a virtual image. Why it's a virtual image? You can't get that image on a screen, and also erect in comparison to QI. Let us proceed. How do we draw that? From the point I, we draw a line parallel to the principal axis, which will refract and gets out or passes through the focus of the eyepiece. The second ray chosen is again the ray directed towards the optic center and moves out without any deviation. But these two rays do not appear to meet. In fact, they diverge. So, what is the other possibility? We produce it backward to see whether the refracted rays meet at any point. See both these two arrows and they converge at point I dash. From I dash, you draw a perpendicular towards the principal axis. We reach the point Q dash. So, Q dash I dash is the final enlarged virtual image formed from the object over here. See the laser. This was the object. It is seen or magnified by an objective, further magnified by the eyepiece, and at last we get an enlarged image over here. This is why if you keep a microscopic object like a plant slide, animal slide, microscopic organisms over here beyond the focus of the objective and we view through the eyepiece, we get on the same side in case of a compound microscope an enlarged image which will enable us to study the characteristics of that object in detail. I hope you understood it clearly. I will get back to you in another module how to actually draw taking the measurements, and we will study that in detail in that module. Students, we are making use of compound microscopes in various fields. First, we will enlist which are the different fields. We have not enlisted everything, but very few is mentioned on the slides. One is in pathology laboratories, then comes to the forensic labs, research labs, in field of zoology, botany, and miscellaneous uses. How do we make use of a compound microscope in pathology lab? Pathogens are microscopic. We need to study the pathogens responsible for various diseases. So, the blood test, stool test, etc. will be made possible only by using compound microscope. This is not possible through a simple microscope. So, they make use of compound microscope to study the pathogens and to diagnose the cause for various diseases. Coming to the forensic laboratory, a compound microscope is used for detecting and solving the crime cases. How? By drawing out the human cells and examining them under the microscope. In research laboratories, in the field of academics and other medical fields, they make use of compound microscope. Zoology and botany, when you come to the cells and when you come to minute organisms, if you want to enlarge that and study the details of it, we definitely need a compound microscope. And some other uses mentioned is the presence of or absence of minerals, metals, etc. in compounds, rocks, soil, etc. We use compound microscope. We will have a recap of what we did today in this module. Compound microscope is an optical microscope which consists of two convex lenses, a small objective and a comparatively larger eyepiece. It also has a mirror at the base which will reflect the incident rays. This will illuminate the specimen placed on the stage of the compound microscope. Aperture on the stage enable the entry of incident light to the specimen. The objective forms a magnified inverted image of the specimen. So, the object is placed beyond the focal length of the objective. The magnified image so formed within the focal length of the eyepiece becomes the object for the eyepiece. Now, eyepiece is another convex lens which then forms an enlarged virtual image on the same side of the lens. So, we understood now the principle and working. Coming to the structure, compound microscope have metallic structure and the optical parts. The optical parts constitute the two convex lenses and the mirror. The mechanical part constitutes the head, the arm, the base, and on the head we have the fine adjustments and the coarse adjustments on the objectives. Objectives are otherwise attached to the nose ring, which can be rotated and adjusted. Also, the base is a metallic part. So, I hope you understood the structure of a compound microscope. Then we came to the ray diagrams, which was explained in detail. I need not go back to the slide again. Which are the different fields where we made use of compound microscope, that is pathology laboratories, research labs, forensic labs, microbiology, zoology, botany, biotechnology. Everywhere we require compound microscope because we deal with minute microscopic organisms. Then we want to see the magnified image of it, and hence we make use of compound microscopes in all these cases. Thank you, students, for viewing the module. I enjoyed teaching you. Hope you benefited from this slide. See you again for another module on telescope.